Uh-huh.
Howdy folks, today is Thursday, February 27th. It is 4:43 p.m. and the temperature is about 4 degrees Celsius. And that was Sherburne Station I just walked out of. And this is Glen Road. And they are reconstructing the pedestrian bridge that connects downtown to Rosedale over the Rosedale Valley. That's not yet completed, hence all the construction. But it is election day here in Ontario, as people in the province take to the polls to re-elect our deeply corrupted bozo of a premier, Doug Ford. He's almost a shoo-in to win. There's a sign for Kristen Wong-Tam. She's the incumbent NDP candidate from this area. My riding, Eglinton Lawrence, doesn't even have an NDP candidate. She stepped aside. To have some votes go the Liberals' way. And this street here is Howard. And this neighborhood is St. Jamestown. And coming up is Ontario Street, and I thought, what more appropriate thing to do on Election Day in Ontario than take a walk down Ontario Street. The last time I recorded this route was back in 2020. So I guess you could say it's long overdue that we revisit it on the channel. There's the Church of St. Peter and St. Simon the Apostle. And that is a voting center for this area. But this is the north end of Ontario Street. That sign says no exit, as Ontario Street is non-continuous. It's divided into 4 different segments. It's been broken up over the years, but it's primarily residential. It features a number of Victorian era homes, and in this section, mid and high rises where Victorian homes used to stand. They were all cleared out in this area to make way for St. Jamestown. And this traditionally has been one of the more economically deprived parts of downtown. It's also the densest residential community in all of Canada. There's some new condos sprouting up over along Sherbourne Street. So we are on the east end of downtown, or rather in the east end. There's 700 in the St. John's. I sound a little more subdued than normal. I am currently under the weather. I wanted to get out and get some fresh air and steps in. Normally I would have gone live tonight. I'm not sure when the next live stream will be. There's the Rose Avenue Junior Public School. So I'm guessing this part of Ontario Street was carved up when St. Jamestown was being built. It was constructed mostly in the 60s. It's home to roughly 18,000 or so people. Hey, there's a food truck. It was originally intended to attract younger working professional and mostly middle-class residents. That kind of coincided with a flight to the suburbs as American automakers convinced people that the white picket fence out of the big city was the dream to obtain, and the area fell into a bit of an economic depression. But it's been resilient. It's a rather thriving community these days. And it's a very diverse one, although that's true of just about any community in the city. And often you'll see an outdoor market set up in this stretch. Kind of resembles more of a garage sale than, I guess, a flea market. I'm guessing with this weather, that's kept people from setting up shop. There's a playground. And here's a Food Basics. That's a low-cost grocery store on the left. And this is Wellesley Street coming up. And the light changed just for us. And now we have left St. Jamestown and entered Cabbagetown. This area is reminiscent of what it was like over there in St. Jamestown prior to the 60s. But one of the reasons all the Victorian homes were torn down is a lot of them turned into boarding homes, and the landlords didn't really keep up on repairs. They kind of devolved into what you could consider to be slums, so that was what triggered the St. Jamestown redevelopment. There's a similar story just south of here at Regent Park. I'm not sure if these are some of the original homes that just have had a new facade put on them, or if they're somewhat modern. They look pretty new. Prospect Street. Here's Winchester Street Junior and Senior Public School. And across the street is Winchester Field, where a lot of people are out with their doggos off leash. And this school here was originally built in 1898, and I think that would be this building here. And it was expanded in the 1950s with this structure. It really made no attempt to match the architectural style. And once again, Ontario Street is interrupted. And it happens 2 more times if I'm not mistaken. I said 1898. That says 1874. I think there might have been another building prior to this one. So that school is 150 years old now. And you can take Winchester Street here all the way pretty much over to Riverdale Park West. There's a lot of gorgeous old homes on Winchester. And a lot of these have heritage status. In fact, I think this whole block does over there, dating back to the 1800s. That's Aberdeen Avenue. And this would be Carlton Street coming up. We've had several days with it above zero and the snowbanks still prevail, although they've gone down quite a bit since where they were a week ago. And that will lead you to the heart of the commercial area in Cabbagetown, right at Parliament and Carlton Street. If you go this way, that'll take you towards College Station. There's an old motorbike with a sidecar. As we're about to walk past Dr. O Lane. And some of those houses have heritage plaques that often state the name of the original owner of the home or someone significant who lived there. These homes here are old worker style cottages, although that one has been converted to the Satok School of the Arts. That one has a Cabbagetown flag in front of it. It's a rather unique home that dates back to the 1870s here. It's the old William Hill House. And this is Gerrard Street East coming up. Who needs turn signals? Just drive like an asshole. I was recording on Gerrard Street yesterday through the Toronto Metropolitan University, formerly known as Ryerson campus, which is just west of here. There's a new development starting to rise. This part of Gerrard is a little bit of a hodgepodge. The button was pressed, I guess not. think you could pay me $1 to touch that thing. There's another voting center coming up. I voted earlier today. There was nobody else there. We always have a disappointingly low voter turnout in this province. There'll be a couple of people in there manning the polling station and a security guard.
Are you serious? Okay, back it up.
I don't really want to touch the wet, soggy ball. I kicked it back to the kid. Certainly a really interesting collection of homes. There's a really old walk-up apartment. This is Dundas Street East coming up. And you can see that apartment building straight ahead. That's part of the Moss Park apartments. And that is directly in our path. We'll have to walk through that apartment complex to keep going straight here. Building there is the Century Locks. As you can see, this part of downtown is a little rough around the edges. At least visually, although the neighborhood coming up Moss Park doesn't exactly have the best reputation. At some point, somebody proposed that building and it was approved when this was all really nice old Victorian homes. And I would be shocked if Kristen Wong-Tam didn't win this riding. She's one of a few NDP candidates, it seems like, an incumbent for life. Peter Tabins, I think, would be another one. There's probably people already writing up comments saying that they both lost. There's some old bungalows.
The mechanism itself is 30 pounds. The kit.
Some more workers' cottages. Most of these were originally occupied by Irish settlers. Who were involved in mostly blue-collar work. But coming up is Shooter Street, and once more Ontario Street gets interrupted. As we'll go through Moss Park, an area kind of dominated by public housing projects. I was feeling better. I was going to go for an e-bike ride today. Let this Kia go by before I press the button. Don't stop for me. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. There we go. As we enter Moss Park. See the financial district off in the distance. But these are actually owned and operated by the TCHC, the city's public housing agency. I think it stands for Toronto Community Housing Corporation. I wait for the day when we can just wear glasses that give me all the information I need up in front of me. That'd be almost cheating, wouldn't it? I don't really feel like walking through that slop. I'm not wearing my boots today. I think 1964 was when these ones were constructed. And I've never been a fan of this style of development. St. Jamestown and Regent Park are other examples of it. City Place is a newer example of it, but it just feels like a community that's kind of been isolated and stitched off from the rest of the city. There's certainly nothing organic about it. Just a block of towers surrounded by grass that should serve as parkland, but people don't really use it as a park. It's really just a buffer. Ontario Street resumes. right over there. And straight ahead is Kim's Convenience, which was used as the facade for the CBC TV show that goes by that name. Stained Classes Supplies. That's supposed to be a G or a C? Stained Classes. And this is Richmond Street coming up. Fix my camera there. Candace and Basil Furniture Showroom. Just a lot of high-end furniture shops in this part as we emerge into the St. Lawrence neighborhood. Grove Concepts, there's another one.
Project Primero Handle.
And once again, Ontario Street is interrupted. This time there's a little jog right at Adelaide Street. And this is the Banknote Bar. Unfortunately, their more popular location at King and Bathurst was forced to close thanks to Metrolinx. That bar there is pretty good. And now we have to play Frogger. Just wait till the traffic bunches up. Not the only one standing here waiting to cross, it looks like. I think given the distance between marked crossings here, they really ought to put a crosswalk. All right, there we go. And behold, the final stretch of Ontario Street. Well, that building is 25 Ontario Street, which would kind of imply there's more south of here. It's possible it went even more south of here, but this complex straight ahead, which used to house the Toronto Sun, may have broken it up. As we arrive at King Street West. Ta-da! Ontario Street on the Ontario, or day of the Ontario election, has been successfully navigated. I need to get myself to transit. I could just take a King streetcar over to King Station. There's the Chesterfield shop. Here's what I woulda, coulda, shoulda hopped on. There's EQ3, another furniture store. Let's see, where is this one going to? Oh, it's the 503 Kingston. That said Broadview Station on it. That would have been a candidate, but we'll just keep going. Since I'm still well short of my self-mandated minimum 10K steps, I'll just keep pushing forward here. This is all I'm going to get out for today. So we'll consider this bonus. As we arrive at George Street. On this site in June 1807, the Reverend George Oakhill Stewart opened the first public school in York. We're not too far from King Station. We'll just wrap up right in front of the station. That's St. James Park across the street. One of the reasons why King is so quiet and pleasant to walk on is that this stretch is part of a designated transit priority corridor. So between Jarvis Street and Bathurst at most intersections, vehicles cannot go straight on King. Finding my camera there. There's the St. James Cathedral. This is Church Street, and there is Score on King. I've yet to go to their new one, Score on Queen, where the Black Bull used to be. Girl just stepped in front of a turning streetcar. And I was in this office a few days ago. That's the Google head office for Canada. And I made a video walking to that office from Queen's Park Station.
Very, very long.
We're almost at the financial district. There's a big crowd of people waiting for an eastbound King Street car. As we made it to King and Yonge. And well, that's about that for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you remember to get out and vote if you live in Ontario and are eligible. I'm going to head down into the station. But do let me know your thoughts and comments down below if you wish to support what I do on YouTube. There's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I've got an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button appearing down below if you wish to say thanks that way. So 503 Kingston streetcar rolls by. Oops. Anywho, thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Yoink.